once I saw the wedding pictures, it really hit home. Not me personally, but I'm just telling you. So here's Embiid after the game.
This is something that I knew, weeks ago. Even probably 2 weeks before the season ended. I guess every year is all about, whatever you guys decide, whatever fits the narrative as far as, who's going to win. I'm not mad. No, that's 2 years in a row. I put myself in that position. It didn't happen. It's almost like at this point is whatever happens.
Yeah, listen, Embiid's like me. The MVP is not something you have to care about anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. It's a participation trophy in the NBA. It's what the voters have done to it. However, Brew, listen, I understand Joel Embiid has never played in the conference finals. I understand he is not some proven playoff performer. I get that. I also think he has earned our respect as a competitor and as a warrior to not think, and was seeing him cry after Kawhi hit that shot a few years ago. The guy cares. And I just thought it was an unfair accusation to act like Joel Embiid's head was somewhere else. If it was somewhere else, it's because he just suffered a concussion and his face is broken. It's not because he's like, damn, Jokic won another fraudulent MVP. Now I'm going to dog this game. I just thought it was unfair, bro.
Look, I'm not saying I believe Barkley, but I am with Wilds, Nick, on this and that. Yeah, he saw the report like the rest of us saw the report, but I'm sure he still was holding out hope that he was going to be the MVP. And Wilds is right. Like, there wasn't the degree of certainty until this week. Like, yeah, he thought, okay, it looks like Jokic is going to win it. But this week, he knew. All right, he knew now he wasn't winning the MVP, and it may have gotten to him because, Nick, as you said, I definitely agree with you. Embiid cares about winning, but he also cares about winning the MVP. And so I don't think it's as much of a non-possibility as you do. That's all I'll say about that. But I want to address this too, because Embiid did kind of bring up or at least allude to the media getting it wrong. And I've had Jokic in the third spot on my ballot. I voted for Giannis and then Embiid second. So I didn't agree with Jokic winning MVP. But I'm going to push back on this notion that the media shouldn't be voting. He brought up Bill Simmons and his criticism of the rookie Jalen Green on a podcast as evidence that the media is biased. You guys know that quote from Simmons was taken way out of context. He didn't mean it like people are projecting it to mean, like he just hates Jalen Green and not going to vote for him by under any circumstances. But let me point out, the media is the most qualified and unbiased group that you could have voting on these awards. And I'm going to prove it to you. Because when players got the vote for the All-Star game, right? Remember back in 2017, the players' first year, we get to vote for All-Stars now. Well, 128 players did not vote for LeBron James. And 154 players out of 450 didn't vote for Kevin Durant. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and it is proof that players have more biases. They play more favorites. They vote for ex-teammates, current teammates, don't vote for guys they don't like. And the media, you can disagree with this vote all you want, but the history of the media is that they are the most unbiased in voting for this stuff. Nick, you notice when players voted, Bill Walton won MVP after playing only 58 games.
Correct.
Yeah, when they voted for MVP, he won it and played only 58 games. Kareem won it with not making the playoffs in 1977.
Not making the playoffs.
Or 76.
Yep, absolutely.
And had a losing record. So the media has been much better in voting for this award.
There was a year Elgin averaged 38, and Oscar averaged a triple-double, and Wilt averaged 50 and 25, and Bill Russell won MVP, averaging 18 points a game when the players were voting. So, yes, I agree with you, Brew, that the media voting for the MVP is the best methodology. Unfortunately, Wilds, the media no longer votes. The robots do. It's an algorithm, you type it in, and Jokic wins every year. So I would love to get back to the media voting, but the media doesn't vote anymore. It's the robots.
Don't get me started on robots.
Well, we played at a snail's pace. I think, what did we have, 85 shots, turned the ball over. They gave up. I mean, everything they did tonight was harder and better. Their stuff was better than what we ran. Their energy was better. Their toughness was better. I haven't said that very often about us, and that's on all of us. That's on me to make sure they're ready, and that's on them to be ready. Tonight we were not.
You know, hey, it's game 5 of the playoffs. Maybe you should be ready to play a game. I don't know, Broussard. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. Philly loses by 35. Were you surprised by the blowout loss?
I was very surprised, Wiles. Look, I picked Miami to win the series before it started, and I would have picked them with a bit of hesitation, but I would have picked them even if Embiid had been healthy for the first 2 games. But I was beginning to think, Nick, that Philly was going to win this series. After games 3 and 4, Embiid was getting progressively better in game 4 than he was in game 3. I thought he was going to come out and dominate last night. Harden obviously had played well in game 4. You were wondering, okay, has he found something? Was it a breakthrough? Remember, I brought that up, that he finally played well, great actually, in a game where the pressure was on and it was a big playoff moment, and none of that happened. I was shocked by the lack of energy, intensity, drive that the Sixers played with in such a must-win game. It was stunning. I mean, you are facing a team that is starting Max Strus and Gabe Vincent in the backcourt. Kyle Lowry was out.
Good play.
2 undrafted players, and they outplayed the once great James Harden. James Harden had 14 points and 4 assists. Even in many of the games where he hadn't shot well, he would at least give you 9, 10, 12, 15 assists. He was out of it the whole night, no energy, and then Embiid struggled as well. This was stunning, Nick. And I don't look. This series has been a home series, so maybe they'll bounce back in game 6. But what they did last night was absolutely shocking. And now I feel strong as ever, that Miami, even if they don't win game 6, they will win this series.
Yeah, I was shocked as well, but maybe I shouldn't have been. And Wilds nailed it. Like, Doc Rivers talking about his team having a lack of energy in game 5 of the second round of the playoffs is just unforgivable. But we've talked about Doc's struggles up 3-1, up 2-0. Let's look at Doc's last handful of game 5s. Well, yesterday was a disaster. Game 5 in the first round was the game, their single worst game against Toronto. They're up 3-0. They lose game 4. They no-show game 5 in Philly. What about last year? Last year, game 5 against Atlanta was a game they led going into the fourth quarter and lost the fourth quarter 40-19. What about his last year with the Clippers? Game 5 against Denver. They're up 3-1 in that series. They have a double-digit lead in the second half, and Denver storms all the way back to win by double digits themselves against the Clippers. For some reason, Doc Rivers has a rough history in game 5s, which are, I don't know, just the most critical game in a playoff series other than a game 7.